Hello and welcome to Old School RuneScape Sailing Developer Diary. I'm Gnome, and today I'm joined by some of your favorite JMods to share new details about our first new skill.
Hey, I'm Mod Husky. You all know me. I don't actually look like this in real life, unfortunately.
I'm Mod Lenny. I'm a little newer to the sailing scene, but I've climbed on board to help lay the foundations for how boats work in the game.
I'm Mod Elena. No, not the one from Ardoin, thankfully.
Since this is a Winter Summit video, we won't be covering all things sailing today. If you need a reminder of what sailing is, check out my video that went out during the Summer Summit, and we'll meet you back here when you're ready to dive in.
With sailing, we're trying to strike the right balance where we can fit in as much content as possible without taking years and years to release it. After all, if we tried to stuff it full of every type of content it could possibly have, we'd probably still be designing it in 2030. However, this is Old School RuneScape's first new skill ever, so it's important that we only release it when it's ready. But what does it mean to be ready? Many of our oldest skills are still being continuously updated to this day, and we expect sailing to evolve too. So while we do want to launch a fully realized skill, we will also be regularly updating it beyond launch. Okay, let's take a look at our roadmap. As you can see, we've split the development process into 9 major milestones, which we're aiming to complete in order. We're currently on navigation, with the next stages focusing on primary gameplay, ship customization and crew system, ship combat, and then secondary gameplay. Once those have been developed, we'll work our way up to more advanced gameplay that links the entire skill together. Islands and points of interest are hugely important to sailing, so we've decided to tackle them separately, as they aren't dependent on the other milestones. This means that they can be designed and polled while other development work is ongoing.
Underlying tech is our top priority so that sailing always feels natural at its core. Since we're expecting you to spend so much time out at sea, navigation needs to feel seamless and smooth, and we're keen for you to get your hands on it as early as possible to make sure that we get it right. We've now developed the core infrastructure of the skill, allowing you to gain XP, level up, and view your level among your other stats. We've also looked at issues such as tying it into the max cape, so you can quickly get back to work at earning your bragging rights back. You can also own boats of different types now, letting you build up your collection from small rowboats to much larger ships and galleons. Additionally, the team has successfully implemented the systems for boarding boats from a number of different ports and addressed what happens when you leave boats by different means. We've also tackled the multiplayer aspect of navigation, allowing you to board another player's boats or even steer if you're the navigator. Other aspects like boat collision, logging out to sea, ship speed, and turning circles are still being worked out. We're currently exploring how we can make interactions work between boats and land to allow for docking or other exciting content later down the line, including combat.
We'd also like to highlight some of the work we've done on the ship infrastructure system. Most of you probably saw our tech demo earlier last year, but a lot of that was a quick and dirty proof of concept just to determine whether or not the tech would even work. There were a lot of quick hacks, debug script, and some very clear limitations that we had to work around. I'll make this one short and sweet, and a regularity for me. But players can now train sailing from 1 to 99! Woo! We did it! Skill is complete, let's ship it! Jokes aside, we've implemented the basics of core gameplay, and one of these aspects is trimming the sails. Every so often, while not at port, the player will have to trim their sails to ensure that the ship can move at full speed. We've had some fun with this one, really exaggerating the speed difference, but we do expect it to be much more subtle for the finished product, but here it is in action anyway. Of course, this is far from being all that sailing has to offer, and of course will not be the only way to gain XP. But from a developer perspective, it's a good place to start. Since officially passing the poll, we've been able to get much more specific with our designs internally for sailing activities. And here are some of the questions that we've been discussing. What level do players unlock access to new activities? How does the gameplay change for these activities as you level up? What kind of facility upgrades can players choose from, and how do these impact each of the activities? How do crewmates, or other players, impact the gameplay? And what exactly is cargo and salvage, and why should the player care about them? We have all the answers to these, and much more, but we're not ready to share these just yet. But rest assured, we will be asking for player feedback when we can, and that feedback will be crucial for helping us develop lots of fun, satisfying, and rewarding activities. We've also started to put together a rough outline of the player journey. Early game, from levels 1 to 50-ish, you will likely be focused around Port Sarim, start moving towards Catherby, and then Port Khazard. You'll then be able to work towards unlocking large ships, which will enable further access south of Port Khazard into the open seas. Mid-game, around 50 to 80, will focus on large ships and fleshing out your crew. There will be a real sense of exploration here, with access to new content and new secondary training methods, which will involve non-sailing skills. Late game, around levels 80 to 99, you can finally look forward to colossal vessels and more complex gameplay. We want our endgame sailors to feel rewarded for their time, so expect a large number of meaningful unlocks at a regular cadence, especially because levels at this point feel much farther apart and tend to require a much greater time investment. Of course, the key to sailing is that awesome feeling of exploration, so we don't want to force every single player to experience the exact same way. However, the beats of this player journey will be a useful reference point for us during development, just to keep us all on the same page.
Betas are incredibly important to us, and we're expecting to offer at least 3 opportunities for you to get your hands on the content before launch, though we can't give specifics on when just yet. The first Tech Alpha will launch at the earliest opportunity and will focus on refining the navigation experience, ensuring you're all comfortable and engaged while traversing the sea. Our first open beta will address ship customization, crew management, capsizing, and ship combat, offering a comprehensive preview of all 4 features. If development goes well, we may also have some early game content here too. A second open beta is currently planned as a sailing demo, offering all of the above as well as new gameplay mechanics, secondary gameplay, and some islands and points of interest to explore. This beta will take place very close to launch and will heavily influence our launch date expectations. We're also not ruling out additional betas if needed. Let us know what you think.
Now, some sick news for the creatives in our community who want to contribute directly to the sailing skill. For the graphically inclined, we'll be running community contests this year to design both the sailing skill icon and the skill cape. For inspiration, here's the placeholder icon that we've been using during development, made by the talented Gentle Tractor. And for any designers out there, we're offering you the chance to design your own island and potentially see it in the game. Look out for the player-designed island competition sometime this year too.
And that's a wrap on our update for sailing today. Thanks so much for watching. This has always been a community-driven project, and we intend to keep it that way, so stay tuned. On that note, if you voted no to the skill, check your inbox for a message from Mod Light, Community Manager on Sailing. We're asking you to fill out a 5-minute survey and help the team make meaningful changes to improve your experience with the skill. Increasing feedback representation from all player types will be incredibly important as development continues, so be sure to stay involved and make your voice heard.